Okay. Mute Twitch. Hear myself. Box with the immediate claim of that first class adventure. Are you on both YouTube and Twitch? You are. You're in both. It's yours. What's the first? Yes, it is. You grabbed it. You grabbed it immediately. Okay, let's see here. Trying to make sure I have everything correct. I believe I do. I like to double check before I start doing other things. Oh my goodness. It has been a day. It has been a day. Mostly good. Mostly good. Be lurking and twerking until kids asleep. You know what? That is completely reasonable, Bruce. 100%. 100%. All right, let's switch over to that main scene. So I've got a handful of Clone Commandos. These are the... And Shinny Wifey got her check-in. Good, good. Oh my gosh. That doesn't feel very secure. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the... So this one has like 2 different grips. It has like this like top level grip right here. But if you push it out further, you've got like a lower level grip. And that feels way more snug. Okay. I was worried that I was gonna like drop him or something. But yeah, these are the official Clone Commandos. Let's zoom in a tad here. Let's see, do I need to adjust my focus? Maybe a little bit, right about there-ish. Yeah, so these are the official ones. They come in a squad of 4. And honestly, I don't think they need to get like a standard paint job. I don't think they're gonna need too much. I need to paint like all the under armor bits and their gun and stuff like that. And then I need to paint their visor because the Clone Commandos have like cool glowing visors, which I have painted a different Clone Commando. This one is, I'm just gonna sub him in as like a leader character. So he's got some special armor. And, oh, the Stream Elements bot is running. Thank you, Stream Elements, for letting me know. But yeah, so they've got this kind of cool glowing look to their visor. So I want to make sure I do that for them. Oh, and real quick, before we get started on anything, I want to show off the Spartan that I worked on last week and got a little bit more progress done on in between. Shinny Wifey and I worked on some stuff over the weekend. He's still not quite 100% done, but Star Wars Zero Company comes out tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that game, so I wanted to paint some Star Wars stuff tonight. Zero Company is going to be kind of like if XCOM was Star Wars. And this is like some funky jazz. Cousin, is it your birthday? It is. It is, Rethius. It is, cousin. Cousin Nico, let's go bowling. Every time, every single time. I didn't even play very much Grand Theft Auto 4, but for some reason, every single time you show up and you call me cousin, that's the first thing I can think of. Is Roland? Is it Roland or Roland? R-O-L-A-N, I believe. Thank you. Thank you, Rethius. Been tasked with watching the last of the series I started. I'll be about an hour. I'm watching off to the side, but won't be able to hear. That is fair. I don't know who is the Roman cousin here, but I am claiming Nico. All right, then I'm Roman. Cousin, you want to go bowling? Let's go bowling. It's actually been a little bit since I went bowling. My sister was in town last... I feel like it was right around Christmas. Man, 180-second ad break already? That's rude. Rhonda, thank you for stopping by. I have had a great day. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And welcome to the YouTube stream. See me on the other side of the ads. I'm just getting some paint ready. We're going to be painting some itty bitty clones for Star Wars. I'm going to be working on this guy right here. Parental units are here as well. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, this is one of the Star Wars guys that I'll be painting. Got a group of 4, and they're all in kind of unique poses. So that one's just kind of standing there with his gun. This guy's like the commander, so he's, I don't know, telling him to stop or to hold, or I think that's what the hand signal is. I don't know. I wasn't in the military. I don't know. We've got one with a sniper rifle who's kind of doing this really like awkward lean. He's like walking forward, but also leaning back. It's honestly, this is kind of a weird pose. But he's going to get painted anyways, no matter how weird he likes to stand. I feel like this would be really bad for your back if you fired a rifle while doing this weird, awkward lean. It's me. It would be me being out there being awkward. That's fair. And then there's this guy who's also kind of leaning and one-handed shooting, which I believe he actually has like the shotgun variant of his gun. Maybe he's trying to peer around cover. He very well could be. And it would actually be kind of cool if I had... I don't even know how I would do that. And that guy's clearly surprised. I'm trying to think, like, because if there was like a pole here, maybe he's leaning into cover. Maybe that's what it is, right? That looks kind of cool. Like if there was a piece of broken wall right here or something. That might be cool. I don't know how I don't know what I would add to the base to make that work. He wants to prevent organs from being blasted. You know what? I'll give him that. That's probably what he's doing. But yeah, so we're going to be batch painting these guys tonight. I'm going to start with their undersuits. You can see a little bit. Let's see which size brush. Probably this guy. But you can see a little bit of the undersuit kind of poking through right here in between his leg joint. You can see some right here on the back of his knee. He also has, it kind of looks like there's like I don't know, like the cuff of his pants kind of sticking out over the boot. I don't know if that part's supposed to be black. I almost want to look up a picture because I don't remember it looking like that on other ones that I've painted. But he also has like this section kind of around his neck needs to be black. His gun needs to be black. His gloves, his elbows. So he's got a few spots that I need to pick out and kind of add some detail. So he's not just painted white with a little bit of shadows. We definitely want to add a little bit more to these guys. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to add all the black. And then at minimum, I'm going to try to come back and paint their visors and kind of give them that Necrotomb welcome. Kind of want to give them the glowing visor effect, similar to this one that I painted a little while back. Johnny, how's it going? Welcome. This guy is kind of a Special Forces custom commander that I painted. So he's not, the other guys aren't going to look quite like this guy. He's more stealthy. Dr. Goggles, welcome. So yeah, we got Necrotomb. Johnny showed up. Dr. Goggles, how's everybody doing? But yeah, well, this is one of the guys we're working on. So first, I'm going to start with some Occultist Cloak speed paint. This stuff is a blackish blue-gray. It's pretty dark. I don't like to do pure black for the undersuits because sometimes it's just a little bit too dark. Can't stay for long. Got a test in the morning. Ooh, what kind of test? If you don't mind me asking. Is it like a schooling test? Just finished painting your Hindry custom for now. Ooh, AP Bio, man. Okay. Have you posted your Hindry custom in the Discord? And I did not take AP Bio, Dr. Goggles, so I apologize. I can't help you at all. I took like regular biology 1 in high school, and that was about as far as I went with biology. I'm also, this is one of the first times I'm using the Army Painter the giant wet palette. I'm gonna try to use it for the speed paints as it is intended. If you do post it in there, Johnny, and if you are okay with me sharing, I will gladly pull it up on stream. You had one really good history teacher, and that's it. I actually had a really fun physics teacher back in high school, and he made me really, really enjoy physics. Post it once you're done? Perfect. Well, I will love to see it. You loved your English teachers? I feel you had a good shop teacher this year. That's good. Let's see. I actually did have a couple of good English teachers, like ones that I really enjoyed the class and like learning with them. I also had a couple that were just kind of okay. I had one who was the high school football coach, and I feel like that was actually like his primary job, and he was just kind of an English teacher because he had to be a teacher in order to be a coach. And he was fine. He was a nice enough guy, but I don't feel like we actually focused on like learning English enough in that class. You had one good English teacher back in 7th grade. I really enjoyed my English teacher in my, let's see, it would have been my freshman year of high school. She was really cool. She was really into like fantasy novels and stuff. So like she'd always talk about Lord of the Rings. And we could sometimes get her distracted from actual like school stuff by getting her to talk more about Lord of the Rings, which was also great. Did I do anything fun over the weekend? Oh boy, did I. Shinny Wifey took me on a date on Saturday. And we had a lot of fun. We went to a local place here and had some burgers for lunch. Some really good burgers. And we went to my friendly local gaming store, and we miraculously did not buy anything while we were there. I considered it. We thought about it. There were a couple of things that were kind of tempting, but we did not actually spend any money. We were a good little boy and girl. Oh, I'm getting a little bit messy with my paint here. I got a little bit of it on the white, which is okay because we can come back and clean that up a bit. Man, some of these spots where there's a gap in the armor are actually kind of hard to get to. And I'm not sure if this little cuff is supposed to be black, but I'm gonna paint it as if it is, because it kind of looks like it should be. She did make friends with another book nerd at the game shop. So after we did that, let's see, we also went to a bookstore, which was a nice little local place that has opened up. It's a little small place, and it's like a bookstore and a coffee shop, and they also serve alcoholic beverages, which we did buy some drinks. Whoops, I got a little bit too much on that part. So we're gonna be doing some fix-ups here in a bit. But we did go and enjoy some non-alcoholic beverages. Dr. Goggles, thank you for stopping by. And yes, it is the new local bookshop that we went to. And then after that, we came home. We watched some episodes of one of my favorite anime. We were catching up on Bleach, which I started watching all the way back in, like, I think 2005 when it first aired on, like, Toonami here. And that first episode hooked me. Like, I was a high school kid, and I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. And, yeah. So, yeah, the new episodes of the anime had come out recently, so we watched some of that. And Shinny Wifey has actually been watching that anime almost as long as I have. Basically, as soon as we started dating, I was like, hey, check this out. And I tricked her into watching it with me. And she's been hooked ever since. So yeah, we came home, we watched 2 episodes of that, and they were some pretty good episodes, if I do say so myself. They kind of outdid themselves. And then after that, we spent a little bit of time actually painting some minis together. I've got a little station here set up next to me that I use a lot of times whenever I'm airbrushing. But my airbrush booth packs away really small, and so I'm able to pack that away, and then Shinny Wifey has room to sit down and paint next to me. Johnny, thank you for hanging out with us. Really appreciated. Have a good one. Tricked. I did. I tricked you into watching Bleach with me. All right, I got a few spots I need to touch up here with the black. Yeah, Shinny Wifey was working on painting a Griffhound from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And I worked on my Spartan that I had worked on last week during the stream. I did a little bit more work on this guy, got some more details put in, added some basing material down here. That I added this, and I haven't gone back and like done any dry brushing or anything yet, so this isn't quite finished down here. This is the texture paste, like just kind of applied and left like that. So, but it does add some nice texture. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna brush over that a little bit, add some more color and contrast, and then probably add some like tufts of grass. But overall though, I'm really happy with this guy. He came out really good. Like the kind of purple undertone that is still slightly visible when viewing from below. And then how from above he's much more vibrant and leaning into some orange. Like this was kind of an experiment, but I'm happy with it. I had also washed this right at the end, so I may actually come back on his assault rifle here, and I might do a little bit of highlights just to bring some color back and kind of make that pop. I'm also very happy with his visor. I think it looks properly bright and shiny, and maybe even a little bit reflective. So yeah, really happy with him. That's what I worked on our date day. Shinny Wifey, is it okay if I show off your Griffhound? I don't want to just grab it and show it off if you don't want me to show it. She doesn't sound very confident with that, guys. I promise you, it looks really good. So this is the Griffhound she was working on. She had already done some of like the face area and like the neck area. So she had already started working on those previously. And for the body, she had actually, it was kind of more of a white before. And she had painted it with one of our Turbo Dork paints. But we went back and thought that maybe it hadn't been shaken up well enough yet. And she didn't really like how the white had come out. It had a little bit of sparkles in it, but that was about it. And so she went back and wanted to paint in blue. And so she was asking me for some tips on how to add some cool details with the blue. So I was explaining how I like to paint starting with kind of a dark base. So she started with a nice dark, I think it was Imperial Navy for like the lower part of the colors here. And then I was explaining how if you paint from above and paint these areas that kind of stick out and add some highlights, that you can get some really cool highlights here. Is his name Jasper? It could be. And Minnie Shinny should be on her way down. But yeah, so she did a great job, and she did a little bit of glazing to add some transition there between the highlights and the main color. And then she went back over it with some Turbo Dork. And so I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but there is some glitter over top of this. It's there. I can see it, but I don't know how well the glitter is showing up on camera, because the glitter flakes are like itty bitty. But I think she's doing a really good job so far. Here comes Mini Shinny.
It's just I made it.
Oh, okay. Well, let me...
Can I show both of them?
Yes, you can. Yep, Mini Shinny just brought down. So she brought down this. You made this one, right? Yeah. You had a kit to make. Is this felting? Is that what is it called?
I knitted it.
You knit.
It's a knit pack.
A knit pack?
Well, I don't know. Like, I forgot what it's called.
Okay. But it was like a kit thing, and so she had to sew it. There was like some hand sewing involved. And then there was there's stuffing and everything in it. So she made a sewing kit is what mommy says. So yeah, she made this one and she made this one. So she's got 2 little kitties. Do they have names?
I don't have names.
You do not have names. Bruce says 10 out of 10.
But you could do
11 out of 10 is what Bruce says. So yeah, she sewed both of these, and they are very soft. Whatever this material is. Yeah. The backside is like rougher felt type stuff, but the front is this like really nice kind of fur stuff. So there you go. There's both of those back. Thank you for showing those.
We could do a poll of names.
What?
That's up to you if you want to do a poll of names.
We will see.
That's up to you.
All right, she's open to suggestions on names. We will say that. The tuxedo one's looks like your kitty. We have a black void kitty, but not really a tuxedo cat. She's almost entirely got black fur, but she has like a little white patch, like the tiniest white patch. Ooh, Whisper's a really good name. I like that. She whispers when she meows. Yeah, it's a good name. I like that. Necrotomb. Sounds like a fitting name for a tuxedo cat. Oh, I forgot to adjust my zoom. I apologize. And Mini Shinny, I think for the black one, because his cat is a tuxedo cat. Got a tiny bit of black right there on the like bicep plate, so I'm gonna have to go back and do a little bit of touch up here and there with some white. Oh, and I guess I also need to get the base rim of his little booties. This I can be slightly messy on because it's okay if it gets on the base. I don't want it on the rest of his boot, but it's okay if a little bit kind of gets messy on the base. Not sure why, but this song kind of reminds me of like a Minecraft thing. Might be from like a modded pack that I've... Well, not this... Like, I don't think the song is from a modded pack, but it reminds me of something that would have been in like modded Minecraft. And I should probably just go ahead and attempt to get that visor as well. This brush is not staying as finely tipped as I had hoped it would. Okay, not terrible. I got a little bit on the outside of the visor, but again, we're going to come back and clean some of that up with some white. Let's see if I can... Right there, okay. Alright, so we're going to set this one aside. And grab the next one. We play chase a lot. She'll come flying in and grab the side of the door and looking all crazy-eyed and doing heavy breathing, and I'm supposed to chase her off, and then she runs back and repeats. She does all the time. It is a very, very common occurrence with that cat. She is a pretty active cat. When we are home. And even then, not all the time, because so she has like bursts. Because there's a lot of times where like she'll just lay in the same spot like all day long and not move an inch. Unless like one of the kids bothers her. See her pitter-patter running into things in the kitchen and she'll lose her grip. Yeah, she doesn't look like an active cat. I 100% agree with that. She's got a nice kind of tubby belly going on. I got a bunch of that on his chin right there. And kind of across his chest piece a little bit. I'm being messy. I don't think I can get that part of his shoulder without making too much of a mess. Nor on the back. Not with this brush. I will try with a smaller brush. Good mix of fun and chill. She puts up with too much. She does put up with a lot. Like she lets the kids practically torture her, and she'll just kind of lay there and wow, wow, wow. And that's about, you know, she might put up a little bit more protest than that, but not by a lot. She really lets them love on her and beat her up, and she's a very chill cat. Yeah, it does sound it when she's like complaining, it really sounds like she's just saying no, no. And she does play fight with the dog. A dog that is significantly larger than her, too. The dog will have, like, her entire head in her mouth. Gosh. This little tiny spot. What did I do tonight for my birthday? I don't think we did anything. I don't think there's anything to talk about there. You know. No, Shani Wifey took me to one of my favorite restaurants. The whole family went. We have a little local ramen shop that we really enjoy. The whole family enjoys. So we had the kids with us. And we had some delicious ramen. And then we came home. And Shani Wifey had baked a cake. Shani Wifey baked a cake that I haven't had for over a decade. It was a cake that my mom always made for me when I was growing up. I pretty much had it every single birthday. And it's like it's a chocolate sheet cake that has like cinnamon and stuff like mixed in with the batter. And my mom had all these tricks to make it like nice and soft and moist and everything. And like one of the things she would do is she would poke holes in the top of the cake. She'd poke a whole bunch of holes, and then when she would spread the frosting over top of the cake, the frosting would go seep down into those holes, and so the whole cake would have like not just a coat of frosting on top, but it also had frosting inside. And it is by far my favorite cake. So Shani Wifey, she has been a little bit scared to try it in the past, but she worked up the courage and she did a phenomenal job. It tasted just how I remembered it, and it was amazing. And then Shani Wifey also surprised me with a couple of birthday gifts. She had bought me Project Hail Mary on Blu-ray, and also the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So I'm really excited to have both of those. Oh, and we have a lot of leftover cake. We're going to be eating cake for several days. It was a W birthday. as the kids say these days. Oh, and the ad break is starting. I didn't look down quick enough to realize that the ads were coming, so I apologize. It's most of this guy, honestly. Oh, I missed a couple spots, like his knee right here. Oh, she did. I forgot about that. She did make coffee cake last night. The delicious childhood cake of tonight made me forget about the coffee cake from last night. But the coffee cake was also pretty tasty. Adventure Bill, welcome. Thank you for the lurk. Always appreciated. You should definitely use the lurk command because it's one of my favorite things. I need to add some more messages that it can say, but it makes me happy. I love coffee cake. In general, I really love cinnamon, and so like the chocolate sheet cake has cinnamon and stuff in it, and so that's delicious. The coffee cake was also very tasty. So yeah, we have like half of a coffee cake and a whole bunch of like, it's like a full like sheet, like a big baking pan full of cake. Like we still have like more than 3/4 of that cake left that she made tonight. So we might be eating cake for a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to complain. And I'm just going to bring up, you know, my mom would let me eat cake for breakfast because in her mind, cake was a baked good and donuts are fried and you can eat donuts for breakfast. So surely cake can't be that bad for you. And Shinny Wifey can verify. I am not making that up. It is a true thing that my mom would say. Oh, and his visor. Actually, I need to get some more paint. Ads done. Yes, cough is somewhat still here, but I'm making it. I'm glad to hear that, Bruce. I'm glad to hear that you are feeling better and on the mend. I have to get some more, a little bit more speed paint. The little tiny bit I have in my palette is not enough. Just gonna do one more drop for now. I think I'm gonna take these first two and do some touch up on them and get them a little further along 4. I try to, it's only 4. Maybe I can batch paint all 4. Batch painting is one of my, like, least favorite things, but it's, like, the only way I can get, like, very many done at the same time. I think I did pretty good on that round. Didn't get a bunch on the rest of his helmet. So I did get a little bit here on his cheek earlier when I was trying to paint under his, like, his jaw. Go. Pretty good. I don't see anything glaringly obvious that I've missed. So I think that's in a pretty good spot for now. Let's plop that one down. I think I'm going to try a different fine brush. So I don't know what I need. These brushes, so I've got a few different ones, but this one, you know, it's got a pretty fine tip. This is a size 30, 000. I don't know what that means. But it's pretty small, but it very quickly, with not much effort, no longer holds a tip and just kind of turns into like this, and it kind of splays out, or it like splits, and it's really hard to show that. There's a little bit of a split right there. But it's you know, it's a tiny brush, but the same brand, this little bit larger, this is a size 2. Size 2 is like one of my favorite sizes of brush. This one holds a pretty good tip, honestly. Like, it does a little bit of flattening, like right there. It's not quite to a point. It's a little bit bulgy, but you know, from this side, it's got a pretty good tip, right? So like, I like those. But anytime I get any of these like itty bitty tiny guys, like this one is a Army Painter small detail, and this is honestly probably about the same size as that 000. Yeah, so Army Painter small detail is roughly a 000. I've got this, what is this? Character brush from Army Painter. This one seems to hold a pretty good tip, so I might try this one instead. But I've gotten a couple of different ones over the years. This one is their Hobby Super Detail, and it doesn't hold a tip at all. It turns into this little, like, it's small, but it just, I don't know, it just kind of splays out as soon as it gets wet or any paint gets on it. It does not hold a tip. So it's, even though it's listed as like a detail brush, it is just not easy to paint details with it, especially small stuff, like just itty bitty stuff. So I'm going to try this other one, this character brush. We'll see how we do. So we got 2 more clones to get my first nice brushes at Christmas, and I will not go back. What kind of brushes did you get? Because I've bought like a couple of individual, like I have a, this is a golden maple finest sable, master 1 finest sable, and it's a size 2, and it holds a pretty good tip. And then I have this Winsor & Newton, so watercolor round sable, and it does not hold the tip as well as like the golden maple. You got a small set of golden maple. Weirdly, the kids' little arts and crafts kits at like Walmart or any store have extremely small detail brushes. They don't last long, but they do wonders for eyes. I can see that. And so like I bought this set of, hold on. This is the set of golden maple I had, and it also had these 2 in it that I've pulled out. Oh, and there's another a size 3 in here too. And there's a couple of even smaller ones in here that I just haven't pulled out yet. And so I might try those. But this set actually came free with a different set of golden maples that I bought that I haven't opened yet. So I bought this set. Oh my gosh, that's so shiny. They're like silver handled and they've got that kind of like bulgy handle. I bought this set for like, man, I think it was 12 or 15 bucks for this set of like a bunch of assorted ones. And then this other set with like 10 of these came for free with it. So actually, you know what? Yeah, instead of trying the army painter brush, let's set that back aside. Let's what size are these? There's like a size 0 in here. Let's try one of those. These are not as varying in size. There's like multiple size 0s. I see. Yeah, size 0. I'll try this guy. I have no idea how this one's gonna do. But it does have, it's got a little cover on it here. Let's zoom back in a bit. It does have a pretty small tip. Come on. Oh, protector's on there, really good. That's probably good so it doesn't come off in shipping or something. But yeah, it's got a pretty itty bitty tip on it. I like these like triangle shaped handles. Like these are really nice to hold on to, I think. Wow, this does have a really fine tip. It almost doesn't hold enough paint. This is like the opposite of the problem I've been having. That seems like it's, I mean, I've not used it for very long at all, but that's got a really tiny tip on it. So instead of trying to paint everything, let's just like skip to like the visor part maybe. Might have gone a little overkill right there. Still looks like it did pretty good on the visor. There's a little bit I'll need to fix like right here around the nose, basically. I like the golden maple so far, but I need to lurk as I prep for stream. That is perfectly fine, Adventure Built. Thank you for the lurk. Been rocking monument brushes for a while. I don't think anywhere around me has monument brushes. I did pick up an AK interactive brush. My local shop had a couple of those. And I've it was relatively cheap. I think it was like $4 or $5. I've only used it a couple of times. It's fine. But it's not really for some of this tiny details again. Thank you, Adventure Belt. Thank you. I hope your stream goes well. Just a tiny bit of his undersuit showing right in here. And same on shoulder there. And I'm probably getting like way too much of the paint around that opening. Okay. Get a couple of text messages, so I was trying to make sure it wasn't like Shinny Wifey or something asking for help. Did any of you guys ever play Banjo-Kazooie back on the Nintendo 64? I promise this is relevant. Just once, never owned it. So in that game, I freaking loved that game, by the way. But in that game, you could there were these little guys that you could rescue. They were kind of scattered across the stages. They were different colors. They had like little t-shirts on, I believe. And they would just stand there and they'd wave their arms and they'd be like, "Help! Help!" And that's basically all they would do. And anytime that like me or Shinny Wifey, like we've done this for years now, but like if I need help with something, like I don't know, like one time I got locked out, and I couldn't open the front door, and I just sent her just that little gif of the little Jinjo guys. Jinjo, I believe. I don't know how. No one in that game like really talks, so I don't know how it was supposed to be pronounced. But I always said Jinjo. But yeah, those little guys would just sit there, help, help, and I'd send that gif. Shinny Wife, you'll send the same gif. She'll need like help with like the baby's like throwing a tantrum or something and needs some assistance. So she'll send a gif of the little guy. Just help. I love it. Makes me giggle. I feel like I've gotten quite a bit like this brush isn't, 'tis a giggle. This brush isn't exactly meant for speed paints. So usually it's actually kind of difficult to use speed paints with like tiny brushes. And so this brush isn't exactly like ideal for this. It is working. I mean, obviously I'm still getting paint on the model. I heard Chincho ask for help. Nope, I do not. I was just explaining because I got a text and I was not sure if it was you sending me the GIF. So I was explaining the GIF to our lovely viewers. But I feel like a lot of paint is kind of soaking up into the ferrule, so I'm not sure how well this brush is going to do with speed paint. Like I just rinsed it and there's so much gunk up in here. Might be trained. All part of his master plan. She sends it to me probably just as much, if not more. I think she's the one who first started it, or like she sent me that GIF. And it's funny because there's 2 or 3 different ones. Because like I said, they came in like all sorts of colors. Like there was like a purple ones and orange ones and green ones. And I think we've sent like the purple and orange GIF mostly. But it's just hilarious to me. The little guys hopping around. Just a little tiny. I think I got it. It is interesting because he's got it like configured as a sniper rifle, but he doesn't have a stock on this gun at all. Like the Clone Commandos are kind of, they're the inside of his elbow. Should probably be using a much smaller brush for this part, but we're doing it live. But yeah, the Clone Commandos, they have like one gun, but they like can convert it between like the normal like blaster, like what this guy has. They can reconfigure it into either a sniper rifle or like a shotgun variant. And I believe that was a feature all the way back from like the old Republic Commando game on Xbox, PC. I think it was like on the, not the original Xbox. I'm pretty sure it was on the original Xbox, Republic Commando, which was a fantastic game. Let's get a little bit more of this speed paint. believe we will be switching over to regular acrylics here pretty shortly. Not terrible. I got his faceplate a little bit crooked, but mostly got the paint where it was supposed to go. Oh, looks like Adventure Built Gaming went live. I got a notification. He's going to be working on tonight. He's building some more terrain. Hello, Mini Shinny Kitten. Again, are you back? Were you getting ready for bed? You're finally here. You were here earlier. You got school in the morning, so were you getting ready for bed? Is that what was going on? Again, I'm back, I guess. That is fair. This song, ever so slightly, not quite, but something about it reminds me of Phantasy Star Online, which I played the version on the Nintendo GameCube. I did not play the original on the Sega Dreamcast. I believe the GameCube version had like extra modes or like an extended campaign or something along those lines. But I played the crap out of that game with some of my friends back in the day. If you didn't know, anytime someone refers to back in the day, it was a Tuesday. It's just how it rolls. It's too much. Kind of sounds to me like Shinny Baby is not playing nice about going to bed. I can only barely hear through the ceiling and with my headphones on, but it's just kind of hunch based on the noises that are making it into my cranium. Mini Shinny, I believe Bruce is here. I do not know Necrotomb may be away at the moment. Necrotomb also may be working on some stuff. And I believe Necrotomb works a little bit later. I don't know if they're in the States or not. But I believe Necrotomb has kind of maybe a second shift, like an evening job instead of a daytime job if they are in the States. Because I know a lot of times during stream, they're either working or going back to work, or they stop by while they're on break. So it is possible that they had to step away to go back to work or something. He's happy, just trying to clean up after him, and dirty diaper change. Aren't those the best? Dirty diapers. Oh boy. How much people have joined? According to the viewer count, which is not always accurate, Twitch claims I have 12 people watching, and YouTube claims I have 2 people watching. But there's a lot of people who like to stop by and lurk, and they don't necessarily chat or keep the stream like as they're on their like primary monitor. So like you and Mommy and Bruce would count as 3. I also have my own stream open because I like to be able to see what everyone else is seeing in addition to my like stream manager view. So I believe it counts me as a view as well. Umbreon's watching as well. Okay, good. Good. I would be upset if Umbreon wasn't watching. And Jolteon is too? Good, good. I mean, the more evolutions, the better, is what I always say. You don't have to. I'm joking. I am joking. Okay. I feel like I'm going to have to do like a deep clean on this brush. It really seems like it's so small. It feels like the speed paint like wicked up into the ferrule. Like the ferrule looks like right outside the ferrule looks really dark. And I'm just worried that a bunch of speed paint got up in there and like gunked it up. Okay, and then his gun in his hand. They wouldn't mind, I think. The rest of your evolutions wouldn't mind. I mean, you can get them. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying you don't have to. Like, if you don't want to. But if you want to, by all means, go get them. I missed this entire shoulder section here. Would have upset me if I would have like moved on and then come back to it later and then realized. Yeah, okay. Nice. Oh, his other hand. How did I almost miss that too? Right, that. Which one shall you get? Get Vaporeon and Eevee and Flareon. Oh, yeah, get those. Those are the ones you need. And it better be that big honking Eevee you got. The one that's like 2 feet tall. Eevee deserves to watch my stream. Any others? Let's start with those. Okay, progress. Progress. So I've also seen a lot of people. Oops, I just hit one of my monitors. I've seen a lot of people take like Holy White. And this would have actually been before I did the black, but they would take Holy White, which really needs to be shaken up. That is settled really bad. And they would paint like all over the whole model. And it really gets into like these recess grooves, like on his abs and under his chest plate and stuff. And it looks pretty good. But I have not gotten it to look good myself with good results, but I've seen people on YouTube do it. Who are apparently just better at using Holy White to me. And yeah, somehow they do it. And it looks good. And then they come back and they paint the black, and they come back and I believe they touch it up with some white and kind of go over the whole thing. Everyone likes the robot. This is he saying this is a robot? Eevee's the Spider Queen. I think she's guarded by the spiders. Oh man. But yeah, I can delete that. Oh, it's okay. I will fix it. I actually don't know how to do that. It'll be okay. It's okay. I was looking too, and I don't see an option for I can like block you, but that's not what I want to do. I just wanted to see if I could delete one message, but it won't let me. Where? Is it? Do I need to go into like mod actions? No. I don't know how to do that. Like, it'll let me pin it. Oh, wait, you pinned it. Now it lets me delete it. Okay. There we go. You pinned it and I cleared it. It's gone. It's gone. And we won't worry about it anymore. No, it's okay. I didn't even think about it until you said something. So I'm also tired and didn't catch it. Like, I read it out loud. Oh, you know what? I meant to post this in my other... Post that in my other Discord. Whoops, sorry. Which other ones do you have? Mini Shinny? I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh. Mini Shinny checked in. Fox finished the series. Which series was it? What series were you watching? I don't recall if you said earlier. I know you said you were watching a series. But I don't remember what you said. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I actually haven't watched that yet. It's not terribly long, is it? Like 10 or 12 episodes or something like that? Oh no. The show made Fox cry. 10 episodes. I'm familiar enough with Cyberpunk to know that it probably won't have a happy ending. In fact, I kind of know that it probably won't have happy middle either, and maybe not even a happy beginning. It's Cyberpunk. So I've not prepared myself for it yet. It's probably way too much. I got some bold titanium white on my palette, but I'm just doing touch-ups, and I got like a nice big blob of it, so yay me. Yeah. Palette started sliding around because I was kind of like stacking it on the lid, which is probably not like the ideal way to do that. Okay, is that... It's the arm. I didn't really make a mess back here. Honestly, I did pretty good on this guy. I got a little bit on his bicep plate right there, so we're gonna fix that. And he had a little bit on front of his visor right here. Just gonna kind of do like that to touch that up. Okay. A little bit right there. Oh man, excuse me. All right, moving on to the next one. You have all the evolutions? Okay, so get Glaceon, Leafeon, Espeon, and Sylveon as well. I think those are the ones I didn't say the first time. Okay, so this one I got a little bit on the top of his shoe. Oh my goodness, sorry. I apologize. Yeah, I messed up and got some on. Back part of his shoe right there. I'm gonna have to go grab my gum or something. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, first, gonna drink some water. Get some high quality H2O. I get some gum because for some reason that tricks me into not coughing as much. Most of the time anyways. Ender, my Ender Dragon, Silver, my Silver Wings of Fire Dragon, and Toothless. Are they all watching too? You know, like a whole group of friends watching. Oh man, I didn't even see. How did I got a whole big splotch on this guy's cheek. It's just sloppy of me. Got some on his wrist there. Got some on his hand plate here. We have a toy watch party. You see a pic of how many toys we're watching and how they were set up when this is done. I will definitely make sure that either I or Shinny Wifey takes a picture. I believe Shinny Wifey is currently wrestling Shinny Baby. His 3 feet of muscle bound roid rage energy, trying to stop her from putting him in bed. It was nice knowing her. May the odds be ever in her favor. Yeah, she's gonna need some thoughts and prayers and all that jazz to survive this one. She said he was happy when she was taking him in there. And he was watching at least part of the stream because he liked the robot. is what he said. You snack now that you've cried for the last 30 minutes? I'm sorry, I don't have any snacks for you. This is a bring your own snack stream. I have 2 legs and go get one myself. You're not my dad. Should you add more things? You have a Dragonite? Yeah, add Dragonite. Dragonite needs to watch this too. It'd be educational for him. I know it's not the same thing, and I don't even really watch like King of the Hill, but after that, you're not my real dad. For some reason, all I can think of is King of the Hill with Bobby Hill. That's not my purse, or that's my purse. I don't know you. Okay, that looks pretty good with touch-ups. Let's get the last guy. You'll be me in the background. Dragonite, Dragonite, get over here. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I know that correcting some of these mistakes with like pure white kind of messes with the zenithal highlight that I had originally, but I'll be okay. She has a new look. Dragonite has a new look? Who has a new look? Somebody redeem it so you can show. If anyone has enough points, maybe. Straighten out this visor a little bit. I got a little bit of white in the actual visor area, which isn't ideal, but it's going to be fine because I'm actually coming back and painting with some blue to try to add that little bit of a glowing effect. So It is not detrimental that a little bit of white got in there. It's looking pretty good. Mini Shinny, it's possible that nobody has enough points right now. Which colors? Was it these? I believe it was these. Alright, so first, we're going to take some Imperial Navy. Now, we do not need much of this at all. Like, I don't even need, like, a full drop. I just need, like, a tiny little bit on my palette. And we are basically going to go in here and hit most of the visor area. What's this nice dark blue? Then we're going to repeat on all 4 minis. And my goal with this is not to get complete coverage. Like, I want to hit most of the visor, but it's actually okay if it doesn't quite get everything. And of course, I just got a little bit on the outside of the visor right there. So we're going to be coming back with some white in a little while and touching that up again. This one is slightly trickier because of his pose. We got some blue up in there. This is like hard to see. Like, the brush is so thin. Oh, I see a spot. Oh, I see several spots that I need to clean up on this guy that I missed. What the heck was I thinking? The answer is, I don't rightly know. Now let's rinse that back out of the brush. So now we did some Imperial Navy. We're going to bump up to the next color that I have in this Vivid Blues. It's actually a pretty good jump because the Imperial Navy is all the way at the bottom and Vivid Blues is the first in the top half. Like this is a number 6 and this is a number 3. And then after that, we're going to do a little tiny bit of Bright Sapphire, which is all the way at like number 1 on the brightness. And that should help us get kind of a imitation of a glowing visor. And again, this does not need a ton of paint. I don't know why I keep taking everybody off the stand and not putting someone else back on there. A little bit like that. And I am not thinning this down almost at all. I'm basically putting this on kind of thick because there's not really much detail here that I need to preserve. And I'm mostly wanting to make sure I get some coverage. Definitely trying to make sure I don't have too much paint on there, but I'm also not going crazy and watering it down or thinning it down. It's kind of a horizontal line that was really showing up kind of harshly there, so I wanted to make sure I covered that up. Rinsing the brush again. And now we're going to do a tiny, tiny bit of Bright Sapphire. And this isn't a perfect glow. And there's definitely other ways you could do this. There's probably better ways to do it. But this is a way that I've found that I enjoy. Doesn't take a lot of effort. Doesn't take me a lot of time. And I can get some pretty good results for not a whole lot of time and effort. put in. So yeah, that visor looks pretty good to me. It's got that kind of a glow look to it. Go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Because their visors not only had like that little bit of a glow, but it's kind of like it's like the light is like moving along the visor. It reminds me a little bit of like the flowing green text from the Matrix, but it's like blue lights and lines and stuff that are kind of almost dancing down the visor screen. Because for them it is like a screen. There's like a heads-up display and everything in their helmets. And I believe the Commandos visor is even more advanced than some of like the standard clones. Because these guys have like the best armor, the best gear, the best guns. That could be... a couple of those statements could probably be arguable. It's like, I actually think the ARC Troopers get some pretty cool guns. And style-wise, I think the ARC Troopers look a lot cooler. But these guys' armor is definitely the best at, like, protection. That looks pretty good. Is this the one that needed? No. One of them needed a tiny bit of touch-up around the visor area. I think it was this guy. Yeah, I got a tiny bit of blue on the outside edge. I'm sorry, the inside edge of that visor area. Oh. Shinny Wifey redeemed. Show off a toy. Are you going to show off the Dragonite? Was that the plan? Run, Mini Shinny, run. Okay, maybe not run, but... Alright. So next, I want to add some stuff to their base. And on my Spartan, I used some texture paste that I got from my local shop. That I think looks pretty good. It's not finished. I want to do some like dry brushing and stuff on this to make it pop a little bit more, but I'm really happy with how he's coming out so far. But I want to use that same texture paste on these guys. I was kind of testing it with the Spartan. But I don't like to put it directly over a white primed base like this, because if you miss anything, that white just really shows through really harshly. So I like to take something like some brown, and I'm just going to use this hardened leather speed paint. But I like to use something like this and just kind of coat the base. So that way when I use the texture paste on it, if I miss any spots, there's just some brown that shows through instead. So we're just going to be careful and coat the base. Also want to wrap around on the sides a little bit. Right here. I believe Mini Shinny is here. Oh, an ad break just started.
I was trying to get, trying to pick which shirt or dress I should use for her. I had it on right the first time that I made it, but this time it's just a little bit buggy, so I kind of want to try to fix it before.
All right, well, you keep working on that because there's an ad break at the moment, so several people won't be able to see it until after the ads anyways. Commander Jerton, I will try to paint a scimitar for X-Wing using the airbrush. I want to get that aircraft model paint effect, kind of. I have not attempted anything like that yet. So that sounds pretty cool. Recently I primed the A-Wing model, not for X-Wing, but the Star Wars Legion model, which is quite a bit bigger than the X-Wing models. Paint a scimitar for X-Wing. Yeah, okay. Wait, which model's the scimitar? I'm not familiar with the scimitar, I don't believe. But X-Wing has a lot more ships in it than... Oh, Darth Maul's ship! Okay, so I am familiar with it, I just didn't realize that's what it was called. Okay.
Her Drax just accidentally did a little bit of a ripsy. So
Oh.
I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna grab the other set.
Okay, yeah, go fix it. Someone had just redeemed the Mini Shinny show and tell where she shows off one of her toys. However, her toy had a wardrobe malfunction, so she's gonna go fix that real quick. It's pretty obscure. It's on the movie for like a single frame. I mean, it's a cool ship though. It's just I mean, I don't know if I would have ever been able to guess based on the name that it was that ship. Let me set this down for just a second. My A-Wing. I'm sorry, not the A-Wing. Wow. There's not an A-Wing in Star Wars Legion, at least not yet. The Snow Speeder. I started priming the Snow Speeder, so give me 1 second. Let me grab that. It's right over here next to me. Okay, let's also zoom the camera out a little bit. So yeah, I primed it black. And then I went back and sprayed a, I believe it's just this deep gray over top. That looks right. And I should probably hit the underside with this deep gray as well. I just haven't gone back and done it yet. I think I was spraying something else in deep gray and was like, oh, I have more in my airbrush. And so I did this. But I want to go back and probably spray like some ash gray over top of that. And then maybe then do like a really light dusting of this like pale sand. And I think that will get me a good chunk of the way there, where I can then go back and just, you know, kind of paint some details in, like paint some stripes and stuff on it and get some of like the rebel markings. And I believe there's like an orange stripe that goes along, maybe it's like across the back or something. Yeah, these, I gotta say, Star Wars Legion, their vehicle models are very beautiful, very detailed. I mean, like, even these little, like, I don't know how, hold on, let me zoom back in. Even like, there's like little rivets and stuff on like the panels and everything. Like, it is very, very detailed. Mine's a little bit dusty, so I apologize. It's been sitting over by the airbrush. And like all the vents and stuff, like the back side of like the big cannons. I guess technically there's some mold lines in here that I could have cleaned up better on these fins, but they're almost invisible. You can kind of see them at like just the right angle, but and then you could have like the flaps were adjustable. Like you could have these closed or open and you can kind of see inside. Unfortunately I can't get the light at a good angle, but there's like little gears and stuff in there. It's very, very detailed. I also have there's a speeder truck that the rebels have access to. They have some AT-RTs, the small walkers, not the ones from the movies, not the AT-STs, but they have some of the small ones that were in like the Clone Wars cartoon. I have a couple of those. They do also have the AT-ST. I misspoke. I was meaning to say that I have AT-RTs. I also have an AT-ST that is built, which I've also done. It's not finished. It's primed, and I've kind of done that like lighter coating of gray on it, and I think that's as far as it's gotten. Being fins, they look like part of the fin, like it was welded or something. And see, I think whenever I was building it, I assumed that's what it was, and then like later on I was like, oh, I think that was actually supposed to be mold lines. Oh, hold on, sounds like Mini Shinny's back with her show and tell. Saw a paint job the other day that was really inspiring for the AT-ST. I'm gonna grab while she's bringing this out.
It started to rip a bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch over to the other view. So she wanted to show off her Dragonite that is wearing, which was wearing a shirt that started to rip when she put it on. Dragonite also has some eyeliner, and a necklace on.
Sharpie one day.
Oh, definitely wasn't with a Sharpie one day. Good, good, good. So yeah, there's her Dragonite. There you go. All right, let me grab the AT-ST real quick. I wanted to make sure she got that redeemed though before she went to bed. Okay, so I realized I actually had several vehicles. And they're pretty decently big too. So let me switch cameras. Make sure we're zoomed out. So yeah, here's the ATST model, and I mean it's pretty big. This is like a 7-inch ruler from, actually don't remember where I got this one from. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 6-inch. I don't know why I thought that was 7, but yeah, it's a 6-inch like movement tool. So I'd guess this is right about 8 inches tall. Maybe a little under 8. But I haven't really done any of the actual paint job to it. It was just primed, again, primed black. I sprayed some dark gray kind of all over. I didn't really worry too much about hitting the underside here. This is still black. And then I went back with like a lighter coat of that ash gray, kind of at an angle. So this is a little bit lighter than like the snow speeder, just because I haven't gone back with that lighter coat yet. This is just that deep gray. But I'm liking the base of where this ATST is, and I am excited to get back and finish painting this. It's just been kind of sitting. It's just been kind of sitting on my shelf, kind of in this stage for a little while. It's crazy how good it looks with that little bit of shading, right? Like I have not done, like, nothing I've done on this is hard or complicated. Like, this is not any of like, this is not like painting talent or anything showing through. This is just a really quick kind of zenithal spray with some light gray over top of some dark gray. That's it. Like, it's nothing fancy. But I like it. I think I want to come back and maybe do a little bit of panel lining too. Because I don't think I want to add like a wash all over, because I think that's going to just ruin some of the look. But I believe that I want this. I may want to come back with some more gray, and I might want to get a lighter gray. This is the lightest, this ash gray. This is the lightest gray I actually own. And I think I want to get something a little bit, like, there's 2 more notches here that are lighter without getting into just the whites. And so I think I want to get something just slightly lighter and do like a really light spray from above, and maybe at like a 15-degree angle or something, and just get a little bit more brightness, get a little bit more contrast. Because I really like this. I like, this is a great model. And I'm really happy with how it looks so far. Mini Shinny, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Go get in bed. Have a good night. I will come snuggle you after the stream is over, okay? But do not wait up for me. You need to go to bed because you've got school in the morning, young lady. But I also wanted to show off some of the smaller stuff. Like, this is one of the speeder bikes, and he is completely out of focus. There we go. That's better. So yeah, this is, all I did was use some speed paint on this. I did like a zenithal highlight. It got a little bit messy. There's a little bit of, I guess, some black on his nose area right there. But this was just a really quick, like, 15-minute paint job, just so I could say I had one basically done. And I think it came out pretty good. It's not perfect, but I don't even know how many of the speeder bikes I plan to run. They come in like a squad of 2, so I still need to do the other one. But I just wanted to have, them more finished than just having them built and primed. Because I have a whole lot of my stuff that is built and then it's primed, and it might be zenithal prime, so it might be black primer with a white spray. So they look okay. Better, I guess, better than just flat gray or flat black or something. But yeah, this one came out okay. But I really like the direction I'm going with like the ATST more. And then let me zoom back out again here real quick. I also have, I actually forgot I had this guy. So this is the LAT, L-A-A-T. This is like this is not the like troop transport from the Clone Wars. This is like a different version of the LAT from, this was in like the Clone Wars cartoon, I believe. And it was in like the later seasons. And most of my clones that I run are 501st. So I actually painted the pilots inside to kind of have 501st markings. It's in Rebels too. You are correct. Yes. I forgot about that. It is, because this model, in game, in Star Wars Legion, this model can be ran for clone, the Republic or the Empire. It's optional, for either faction. So I've technically painted 501st guys in there. But I don't think any of my friends would be mad if I said, oh, I'm going to run this with Empire. I think it's called a quadcopter. I know in Legion they call it the LAAT, and then it's like /LE or something like that. But I think that's just like the technical, like the snow speeder. They call it the T-47. Like I always knew it as the snow speeder because I only ever really saw it on Hoth in the movies. So that's what I knew it as, like growing up as a kid. I also built it with one of the door panels open. Because I believe, I don't remember if it was Darkfire Designs or if it was Skullforge Studio, but one of them makes some little clones that you can 3D print that are like rappelling out the side or like leaning out the side. And I thought that would be really cool. So I left one side open so I could do that. Because in game, this runs as a transport and you can actually move one of your squads closer up with it. So I haven't printed them yet, but I saw the models and I was like, I want that. Let's zoom this back in a little bit. And I feel like that's out of focus. A hair. Oh, wrong way. Maybe it was pretty close to being in focus. So yeah, tonight's my birthday. I normally stream on Wednesdays anyways. But obviously, you know, today is Wednesday and it also just happened to be my birthday. So I wanted to do a Star Wars painting stream. I normally paint miniatures. I paint all sorts of stuff. Sometimes Warhammer, sometimes Star Wars Legion, probably Star Wars Legion more often than not, just because I really enjoy playing Star Wars Legion. Out of most of the miniature games, it is one of my favorites. I grew up with Star Wars. I really like these models. They have some pretty good models for Star Wars Legion. But also, I enjoy the rules of Star Wars Legion quite a bit. Happy birthday. Thank you. And of course, I am more than happy to share. I've also got a Discord if you are interested. We've got quite a few people in there that share their models. We've got a couple of channels for miniature painting and stuff, or just model building in general too. I don't know if anyone in there shares anything for X-Wing yet. So that would be kind of cool if you wanted to share that in there. But no pressure as well. You don't have to. But yeah, we kind of have a small community of people that share their models in there. So I'm just getting this squad of Clone Commandos painted up. I think I'm going to leave them in this kind of like standard color scheme. I have another squad that I'm painting up with like a little bit more vibrant colors. But the main thing that I was wanting to get done tonight was getting the gaps in their armor, getting just a base color down on the base, and then painting their visor. Wrong way. Let's zoom in a little bit here, get this a little bit more in focus. It is not perfect, but I was trying to do a little bit of kind of that glowing visor effect that the Clone Commandos have. So I layered up a couple of different blues, and I have one that I did a while back that I'm going to use as a custom Clone Commander, and I think he came out really cool. I'm really happy with this guy. So yeah, I was kind of trying to match their visors, and then once their bases dry a little bit more, it's a nice effect. Maybe a little almost white reflection would better sell the effect. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Could add just a tiny bit of white. So I painted up last week. This is a Spartan from Halo Flashpoint, the game by Mantic Games. I didn't actually get this far on stream. Oh, also, Mr. Pigments, hello, welcome. Sorry, I meant to respond to your... I don't even know what emoji that is. Mr. Pigment, hi. Oh, it's one of your emojis. Fantastic, love it. I was looking at it, I was like, I don't recognize that emoji. But yeah, so I started painting this guy up last week. And it's a possum. Oh, I love it. Oh, now I can see it. He's popping down from like a tree branch or something, hanging from his tail, and then waving. Okay, now that you've pointed it out, I can see it. But yeah, so I started on this guy last week. I got partway done with him on stream. And then over the weekend, my wife and I actually had a date on Saturday, and she took me out and about the town. We did some fun stuff. And then we actually came home and we painted minis for a little bit. And so I made some more progress on this guy, and I tested out this texture paste that I got. This is Roacryl Red Earth Fine. We got this at one of our local shops, had some of this, and it was like $14 for this tube, so probably not the most efficient use of money spending on these, but I do like how this is looking. I think I need to come back and like dry brush over this and get some more depth and like contrast, because right now it's just kind of reddish dirt. So I think adding some dry brushing and bumping that up a little bit will help a lot with adding a little bit of depth and everything. So it's not just kind of a flat red base, but it's a start, right? And you know, I like how the mini came out so far. Really happy with him. Had a lot of fun with this one. And honestly, Mantic makes some pretty good models for this Halo Flashpoint game. I think I want to come back and add some highlights to his assault rifle over here. Because it was mostly a flat gray, and I added a wash, and I think it came out a little darker than I was wanting. But it kind of got it right about where I wanted it. It's just a little bit too dark gray. So I think I'll come back and add some highlights and bump that up again. But I really wanted the focus to be on him more than his weapon, because I kind of went all out on his armor compared to how I normally paint something. And yes, I also have some like tufts of grass and stuff. I've got a few different variations of things that I would like to add to it. You there is here, just resubscribed with a tier 1 for 3 months. Cool. You there is here, welcome. Thank you for the resubscribe. Always appreciated. You personally paint whatever I feel like painting. In the past, I tried to paint in order to get models on the table for 40k and ended up burnt out. I know that all too well. I'm 100% on there with you, because for like in 40k, it's so hard to like like, okay, you pick a faction, right? You're like, all right, these guys are cool. I want to paint these guys. And I picked Space Marines because, 90% of the players do. And so I picked Black Templars because they had some unique models. They had their Crusader squads, and they have Grimaldus and Helbricht and several of those like cool characters, the Emperor's Champion. And they had like the new Sword Brethren squad that came out. I say new, it's been a few years now. I started playing in 8th edition because some friends tricked me into it. Friends. And yeah, so I played for a little while. I played up until the start of 10th. And I just kind of fell out of love with our local 40K community. I don't hate the game or anything. I really enjoy the models. I don't like how expensive most of the models are for 40K. 40K pricing is a lot more than like Star Wars Legion. Because in 40K, it was like, if you wanted to collect multiple armies, it gets super expensive, super fast. So you're basically like, you've picked a faction and you're painting a whole bunch of those guys and those guys only. Like, that's what you're painting. But I found out with Star Wars Legion, I can buy clones. I can buy rebels. I can buy Empire, which are, similar paint schemes to clones a lot of times. I can buy the droids, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, CIS. I can buy those guys. So I have all of those factions. I have battle droids. I have rebels. I have Empire. I have clone troopers. You can also now, they have Mandalorians. They have a whole Mandalorian like sub faction. They have like a pirate sub faction. You can have Darth Maul leading the Shadow Collective as like a sub faction type thing. Like there's so many different factions, and like compared to 40K, it is way easier for me to collect a bunch of factions and have a bunch of different things to paint for in my opinion, a much more reasonable price. If I wanted to collect 7 or 8 different factions in 40K, I feel like I'd go bankrupt. It is expensive. Like Quar. Oh my gosh, not you too, Mr. Pigments. AWOL Trooper was painting some Quar recently, and I can't stand the look of him. Something about him bothers me at like an instinctual level. I can't do it. And I like to collect a lot of things. Like I still have 40K as an example. I painted this guy up on stream a couple months ago. I'd had this guy sitting on my shelf for a while, just primed. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to paint him. And Mini Shinny actually picked out most of the color scheme. I wanted to paint him kind of as a salamander. But Mini Shinny picked out a lot of the other colors. Like she wanted his gun to be orange. So I started painting the case on it. She also picked the coloring for this Tyranids carapace and his tentacle things and stuff. Like she picked the colors for those. And so yeah, I kind of went with what she was picking for a lot of it, but I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. But I don't really want to build a salamander army. The constant meta shifts and the pressure to keep up with 2K games is just way too much for me. I can't sacrifice paint quality in order to paint faster. It pains me. I'm on board with that. Systems like X-Wing feel a lot more rewarding to learn because flying, it's actually a mechanic you learn. It's unique to it. That's pretty cool. See, I have not played X-Wing. It was one that I was really interested in, but I don't think there's anything local here. Especially after it was killed. Same with Armada. I don't know if there was ever any local players for either of those that I was aware of at any of our local stores. But they always looked cool. I also I play a lot of solo games or cooperative games. I play stuff like 5 Parsecs from Home, 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, which is like a fantasy version of 5 Parsecs, Rangers of Shadow Deep, Trying to think of what else. There's like a module for Stargrave and a module for Frostgrave that kind of convert them into co-op. So I've been wanting to try those, but I enjoy, and all of those games are miniatures agnostic, so you can just bring whatever you want. So like I play 5 parsecs from home, and a lot of times I use Space Marines and Star Wars minis and Clone Troopers and Rebels, and like I'll just have all of them on the board at the same time, and it's just neat. I've got a lot of cool models that I can play with, and it's a pretty small game. Like 5 parsecs from home, you don't need a ton of models. You usually have you build a crew, kind of like Firefly or something. You're kind of traveling around the verse and doing odd jobs here and there, and you have a crew of like 6 guys or gals, right? Either way. But you have a crew of 6 is like the default size, and you can build it up to like 8, I believe, but by default it's like 6 is your crew. And you go on missions, and you basically have little skirmish battles. And so most of the time the enemies will have anywhere from like 4 to maybe 10 models, depending on how you roll for your enemies, because it's all like random encounters and almost like procedurally generated stuff. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I really enjoy it. You kind of build a story with what you roll, and to me that's a lot of fun. But I 3D print stuff. Like this was one I 3D printed recently and tried to do some very extreme kind of OSL practice. Probably didn't come out perfect, but it was fun. You know, like I really enjoyed painting like the torch, and then painting some of the lighting on this side of the model, and then the shadow. And at first I had it where like the whole front of the model was in shadow, and then I was like, no, I want like some extreme moonlight shining in from that side. So I might have went a little overboard, but I think it looks cool. Is it perfect? No, but it's cool. Reminds you of Necromunda and Mordheim. I think it is kind of like those, sort of, because it's also like it's a narrative campaign where like all the stuff you do from one battle goes into the next, because you're like your crew gains experience and they level up and stuff, and they can get new gear and everything. The key to better paint jobs is to paint trying to improve, and you have to enjoy it. Yes, I agree. And I've only done OSL attempts a couple of times. I was trying to think if I had anything else around here that I did OSL on, but not really. I have this Jedi that I 3D printed and painted up a little while back that I really enjoyed. No OSL, but it was just a fun model. I'm really happy with how she came out. Star Wars Legion added a narrative mode that they call Tours of Duty, and I want to run her as a custom Jedi leader of my Republic army. So I'm actually painting up all these, like the clone troopers, like these guys that I've been painting. I'm painting them up as part of her army. Plasmas are neat for OSL practice. Oh, like the plasma guns. I have some Hellblasters. I don't think I did any OSL on them, but I have like a squad of Hellblasters that I painted up a while back. I also have Anakin and Darth Vader both that I painted, and both their lightsabers are kind of held in a way that it felt right to try to do some OSL. So I tried to do a little bit of like kind of subtle. I didn't want to overdo it. But sorry, I apologize. I've had a kind of a chronic cough for a long time now. I always try to make sure I cough away from the mic, and I'm actually chewing on gum to try to help with my cough too. But yeah, I haven't tried a lot of OSL yet. I want to practice some more. I also have not done very much like NMM, non-metallic metal. That's one I would like to try some more too in the future. But sometimes I'm just painting and I don't want to do it that way. Like it looks kind of neat on maybe like a cool character model, but I definitely don't want to be doing it on all my like rank and file guys. But yeah, so we've got some clones. Got a squad of 4 commandos that are painted up to about this standard for tonight. I don't think we're going to get any further than this, though. It is already 11:30 for me here. And it's my birthday, so I don't want to stay up too terribly late streaming. I like to get to bed at a reasonable time, potentially. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with how these guys are coming out so far. They're not done. I might want to come back and do a tiny bit of panel lining, like in this ab plate and stuff. Like there's a lot of detail there that I think could pop with a little bit of panel lining. And then again, I want to add that texture paste onto their bases and then add some more details after that. We'll probably add some shrubs and stuff and do some dry brushing on the texture paste, because again, like on the Spartan that I did, the texture paste is just very, like, it looks good. I like how it is so far, but it needs more work. Like this is not done. It looks good, but it does not look done. It looks unfinished. So I want to dry brush some more color, and yeah, we're gonna add some contrast and stuff. So I want to do the same thing to those Spartans. The thing with NMM is that it looks off if you put it on the same table as a metallic paint mini. That's fair. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that is fair. So before I go, I like to try to raid other channels. It looks like there's an ad break in a minute, so I'll try to spit this out kind of quickly. But I try to raid other channels that are in the same like miniature painting category and stuff. And so if anyone has any suggestions, I'm going to kind of scroll through. I know one of my buddies, Adventure Built Gaming, is streaming right now. Looks like he is, oh man, he's building some 15mm metal minis. Oh, looks like the ad break is starting. So he's painting. Let's see who, or not painting, he's building some minis. Who else? Let's switch this to similar or smaller size. Dangerous Dom 1989, welcome. How's it going? We are actually, I'll show you kind of what we were working on tonight. I got a whole squad of Clone Commandos, basically right to this stage. And I'm pretty happy with that. You there, so easy peasy lemon squeezy. They actually showed up on the top of my list here for the raid. Let me double check here. I've never raided them before. Good, just starting my Warhammer journey. Never painted a model or played a game. Got an intro set. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, actually, sorry. I switched camera and then realized I was going to show you something up close. I have painted some Warhammer and I have played Warhammer in the past. But I do not play a lot of Warhammer anymore. In fact, it's been a few years, I believe, since I have played any Warhammer. I do still collect and I still paint. But unfortunately, my local group of Warhammer players kind of drove me away a little bit. I'm not a very competitive person. Most of my group is really into tournaments and stuff, and so even in what I would have assumed were going to be like casual games, they were very aggressive players and very bringing their best lists, and I was trying to bring stuff just for fun because that's what I thought we were doing. Like even with people I had talked about beforehand, and I don't like building for the meta. I don't like. Yeah. I'm much more interested in painting. I love the models; they're beautiful models. Warhammer is also, at least for me, significantly more expensive than some of the other games I've gotten into. And I like to collect a lot, so I don't buy as much Warhammer anymore. I do every once in a while because, again, they've got some great models. I really love them. But I actually got into Star Wars Legion, one, because it's cheaper, quite a bit cheaper. It is significantly cheaper to build like a full army in Star Wars Legion. But two, I grew up with Star Wars. I did not grow up with Warhammer. Some people did. I did not grow up with Warhammer. I grew up with Star Wars, and I really like Star Wars. I'm really attached to that universe. I really enjoy the characters and stuff. And so I build and paint a lot of Star Wars things. So again, like I painted these clones tonight. And with Star Wars Legion, I actually collect like all the factions. Here's a clone, kind of a custom clone I 3D printed and painted a little while back, like a couple months ago. And then here's a custom Jedi that I 3D printed and painted as well. Your other hobbies include gaming, speedruns, challenge runs, and such, and guitar. That is awesome. I have some fantasy minis that I have painted. Most of my stuff that I've painted is not over here next to me. I have a small display case over on my wall. You can't see it at all, but it's just over slightly out of reach, unfortunately. I don't stick exclusively to rating miniature painters anymore. I just try to avoid rating video games and people gluing models. As long as it's something creative, I'll consider rating them. That's fair. I used to love Star Wars, gone off it a little over the years, but still got a love for the old canon, Legends. And see, that's completely fine. And for example, in Legion, most of the stuff that's in the game, like 90+% of it, is from like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. A little bit from like the Clone Wars in between, like from the cartoon, like the Clone Commandos. Technically these guys were really only in the Clone Wars and the games, right? But they also have like Wookiees. This guy's not painted, but he's one I have primed and ready for painting. So you can run the Wookiees with either the clones or with the rebels. They can go with either one. They recently added a Mandalorian faction, or like a sub faction. So I have a few models. This one I believe is actually 3D printed. This one's 3D printed. I had to double check because some of the 3D printed models are really cool too. But they added a Mandalorian sub faction, and they've got some cool stuff with that. And again, that one's 3D printed. I do have like, I think the newest they have for Star Wars Legion is they have stuff from like the Mandalorian and maybe from the Ahsoka show. But they have they have stuff from the Mandalorian show, because they have Mando and they have Grogu or Baby Yoda, as a lot of people knew him. They also have that the Boba Fett from that version, which I have, and he's in a box somewhere. But yeah, they've got a ton of stuff, but they don't have anything from the sequel trilogy. Nothing from they came in with I absolutely love Star Wars. I'm excited for the Leaders of the Sith. They came in with we'll do a reprint of that limited edition box just this once. They did, yes. The Mandalorian box, I believe. But I think they said when they first launched that box that it was going to be limited, but that if there was enough demand, they would do a reprint. I think they had said that kind of up front with that one. Okay, yeah, the Mandalorian Army box, which is actually where it's primed in black, so you can't see terribly well. But this is one of the Mandalorians from the Army box. Again, it is it's primed in black, so it's unfortunately really hard for you guys to see it. But this is one of the models. Like they've made some good stuff. I was hoping I could show some of the details with like the glare. Like there's a ton of details on these models. Like they look so good. I would have actually preferred a permanent starter box for it without the exclusive. I would too, honestly. I got lucky and I was able to get one. And I know there were people out there that bought like 3 or 4 of them because they were just like, I want a whole bunch of Mandalorians. And it sucks that a lot of people didn't get a box that wanted one. Either because they didn't make enough or too many people bought multiples, maybe. I don't know. I hate to blame the customers, but you know, again, if it was just a permanent box, like you said, without the exclusives, drop the price a tad and just don't put the exclusive Mando and Grogu in it, I think it would have been fine. Which I haven't built those models yet either. I have them, but I haven't built them. And then I know I already showed this a little bit earlier, but I've also painted like some of the Halo Flashpoint models. And I'm really happy with how this guy's turning out so far. He's not done. Got to do a little bit more work on him, especially on his base. His base is too plain. But I really enjoy how his armor is looking. I started with a purple undercoat, worked my way up through some red midtones, and then all the way up to some orange highlights. And I think it looks pretty good. It's kind of tough to see on camera. I mean, some of like the purple, like you can see on his shin here, it still shows through. But in person, it kind of has like an almost cyberpunk-y look to it. Because it has like a slight color fade, but like I don't think it shows up on camera quite as well as it does in person. It kind of does. It does not show up on pictures on my phone. My phone does like a weird post-processing thing that I can't turn off somehow. And it just, the colors look all wonky on my phone. But yeah, I paint all sorts of stuff. I like to paint models that I think are cool, that I think are fun. Like I was showing off earlier, I painted the LAT for Star Wars Legion. It's like the LAT/LE or something. It's like the transport, not the transport. This is like the version at the end of the Clone Wars and in Rebels, I believe. The Imperials used it in Rebels. But like the clone police on Coruscant, I think, used this in but this isn't like the LAT assault, because the one in like Attack of the Clones, like when they show up on Geonosis, like that's also a LAT, but this is like a different LAT. Wait, sorry, I just got a notification of something. What was that? What did I miss? Oh, thank you for the follow, Dangerous Dom. I appreciate that. Yeah, and in Legion, as I know you know this, you there is here, but in Legion, this can be used for the Clone Army or for the Imperial Army, which is really cool. You can use it for either faction. So that's one I had painted up not too long ago, and I'm still working on this one, but the ATST is looking pretty good. It is mostly just primed, and then I've done kind of like a zenithal with some lighter gray to kind of get some of the highlights to show up. And I mean, these are pretty decent. Like this, like next to my head, like this is a, you know, a pretty decent sized model. I like it a lot. I think the ATST looks really cool in Legion. So I'm excited to get some more work done on this guy. The weirdest models I want to paint. is Sengoku Jedi period Matchlock Ashigaris. I have no idea what that is. That's a wild sounding name. The weirdest models you want to paint. I'm assuming it's like a samurai looking model. Shogun Total War. Oh. Okay, so I was right. Japanese samurai type. Maybe not a samurai, but Japanese. Peasants with guns. Okay, so not a samurai. But it is Japanese. Okay. That's fair. That is fair. I was making a wild guess just based on the name. Oh man, I don't think I have. Oh, I do have one. Okay. It's not painted. But I also collect a little bit of Infinity. Your comment reminded me of this because this model is from the JSA, or the Japanese Successionist Army in Infinity. And they have a lot of like cyberpunk ninjas and cyberpunk samurai models, and they were just so cool. One of my coworkers and I at my previous job, they had a new starter set. Like it was either the 5th or the 6th edition of Infinity launched like last summer, I think it was. And we picked these out last fall. We have almost no knowledge about it either. We played like a starter game with our freshly primed models. I had like 2 or 3 models painted and he had 4 or 5. But it's like a roughly a 10v10 skirmish type game, and it's got some interesting things like being able to take a reaction on your opponent's turn. So like your opponent might do something, and if you're in like, there's like specific circumstances where like you can see them and you're in range, you can take a reaction. Like maybe you can move behind a wall to get into cover, or maybe you take a shot at them while they're moving, like they've moved out of cover and you shoot at them. I don't know. There were some interesting mechanics, but they're so cool models. This is also extremely heavy. This is metal. I think all of their models are metal. I could be wrong on that, but I think all their stuff is metal. Corvus Belli makes a fantasy game, not Warcry. Warcrow? Because Warcry is the Warhammer fantasy thing that's like Kill Team. Warcrow, I think, is the name of it. And those are plastic minis. But I don't have any of those yet. That was just starting to come out when we looked at buying these Infinity minis. We were interested, but we wanted to see, like, it only had like 2 factions when Warcrow first came out. So we kind of wanted to wait and see, you know, what else was coming to see if maybe we liked a different faction better. Marvel Crisis Protocol has gorgeous proxies if you like Marvel. The official models are whatever. I have been interested in getting some Crisis Protocol stuff. I've seen a couple of the official ones that I liked, and then a bunch of them, like you said, that are just kind of okay. Like I think they recently did like a relaunch of the like starter box. They had like a version 2 of several of the starter characters like Captain America and Iron Man and stuff. And I believe the resculpts looked pretty good. I don't know if all of them did, but I think there were a couple in there that I was like, oh, I kind of like those. But yeah, I have not picked up Crisis Protocol yet. I do have some Star Wars Shatterpoint, which was, when it first came out, everyone thought it was like Marvel Crisis Protocol, but Star Wars. And I think that's kind of what it is, because the same company makes it. Atomic Mass Games made both. But not long after Shatterpoint came out, Asmodee, the company that's like above Atomic Mass Games, like the company that owns Atomic Mass Games, and they also own Fantasy Flight Games, because Fantasy Flight Games originally made Star Wars Legion, but they were like, no, we don't want Fantasy Flight to make Star Wars Legion anymore or to handle the rules. We're giving that to Atomic Mass, kind of. Yeah, Asmodee gave Legion to AMG from FFG, and it's interesting. Is it normal to get an extra parts from a set? I got an extra dude with an extra head. Yes, especially with Warhammer. You often don't have like a full extra body. A lot of times you may have like an extra torso and maybe even several extra heads and extra arms, but a lot of times they only give you like the exact amount of legs that you need. So you normally don't end up with like a full extra body. I think there might be a couple of kits that do, but most of them, it's like if it says you get 10 models, you get 10 full models plus extra pieces. But yeah, so Atomic Mass took over Legion, and then Shatterpoint kind of fizzled after that. And I don't think it was doing super well. I've collected several models because I wanted to paint them. They're a little bit bigger than Legion. Not by much, like, I don't know, 5 to 7 millimeters taller. Like, the scale is just slightly larger. And I thought it would be maybe easier to do like some display painting with them. Like just like go all out on some paint jobs. I just haven't done it. I have a bunch of them primed and like they're built and in a box. I just haven't started painting them yet. You got an intro set, 6 orcs, 6 marines, 40k, but the extra dude is from old Warhammer who came with 2 heads. Like Warhammer Fantasy? Is he like a fantasy guy? Yes, if Shatterpoint was the same scale. Now granted, I think when they made Shatterpoint, it was kind of supposed to be more competition for Legion, like a completely alternate game. It's from Age of Sigmar. Okay, that's interesting. Orcs and Space Marines, but then it came with an Age of Sigmar. I guess I've never looked at the intro box. That's interesting. That confuses me a little bit. I've never had the intro box though. They went through the design before they... Yes, and I don't believe they had any idea they were getting Legion until it got much... Like, they probably knew before it got announced to us, obviously, but they had already gone through years of development for Shatterpoint by the time they would have gotten announced that... Or that they would have been told that they were getting Legion, basically. And I think Legion was the much more successful game of the two. Because Legion already, like, it does need a lot more models than Shatterpoint. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not really like that type of skirmish game. They have a not very well supported skirmish mode for it, but Legion doesn't need as many models as like Warhammer, and even like a full army in Legion again is significantly cheaper than a full army in Warhammer. Even getting like a used eBay, buying as cheap as you can army of like Space Marines or whatever, is probably 2 or 3 times as expensive as just buying a retail army of Star Wars Legion. It's a lot cheaper. Granted, the new models are really good, but a lot of the older models for Legion were not nearly as good as sculpts as Warhammer. And even some of the new ones probably aren't as good, but I think their quality is getting a lot better in recent years on things. So yeah, I really enjoy Legion. I like a lot of models though. Again, I still buy Warhammer stuff. I buy Legion, I buy Infinity. I 3D print some stuff here and there. I haven't printed anything in a while because my painting backlog is already huge. So I really don't need to print more models. I have Halo Flashpoint models. I actually have a 3D printed statue over there that I'm not quite ready to reveal that I've printed out, and I just haven't painted it yet because it's intimidating to me. I want to paint it, but I'm a little bit scared, so I haven't started on it. But yeah, I enjoy painting things. I sometimes build models, not just these, but like recently I built a Zoid on stream. I think you can just ever so slightly make out the shape right up here. He's white on top of my display cabinet, but it's a command wolf from Zoids. There was kind of recently a relaunch of some of their, not a relaunch, a redo of some of their kits. It's a slightly different scale, a little bit easier to build kits that came out. And I loved Zoids as a kid. I loved Gundam too, but I don't know, Zoids was on Toonami during the day and like right when I came home from school, and it just like, I have a lot of nostalgia for Zoids. So I was really excited about some of those models. So I built the Command Wolf on stream 2 months ago, maybe. And that was a lot of fun. I think that took me 2 or 3 streams to get done. I've recently built a couple of Gunpla, different Gundams. So I might do one of those on stream at some point too. If I think 40k is good modeling, check Necromunda. I know I brought it earlier, but dude, that game made me fall in love with GW models again. I have looked at a couple of the Necromunda stuff. Like we were just out shopping kind of for my birthday and we didn't buy anything. But we were shopping at one of my local stores. I kind of want to go check. We have, I think I have 4 pretty good stores around me. We have an actual Warhammer store. But they almost exclusively carry 40k and Age of Sigmar. They have like this itty bitty section with like 2 or 3 Kill Team boxes and 2 or 3 Warcry boxes. Actually, last time we went in, they were out of Warcry. They had no Warcry. They have a little bit of Blood Bowl, like one little shelf of Blood Bowl. It's a pretty small official Games Workshop Warhammer store. But most of their stock is 40k. They have about half as much as that's standard for Warhammer shops. Okay, I didn't know. It's the only one I've ever been to. It opened like 2 years ago. It's a relatively new store for us in this area. The next closest one was like 3 hours away, and I've never been. So we're still kind of getting used to it. We do go in for the free mini. Do I have any of the free minis out here? I have one that I primed in black a little while back. So yeah, we go in and get the free mini every once in a while when they have it, but we're not always able to. But yeah, we have that store, and then we have 3 other pretty good just gaming stores in town. I'm UK based and been to many. That setup sounds familiar, so it probably is kind of a normal setup for a Games Workshop store then. Blood Bowl is such a fun game, and as a football soccer fan, the fan rules to make it more football adjacent or something I want to try ASAP. That sounds kind of cool. Yeah, nothing against our Warhammer store. It's been great every time we've been in there. But we have 3 other pretty good local stores that also have some Warhammer, or a good amount of Warhammer stuff. And sometimes they just have different things. So I like to kind of browse most of our stores and just kind of see what they have. But one of our stores has a ton of like Star Wars Legion stuff. And they also have a bunch of, I haven't bought any yet, but they have the Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones tabletop game. One of our local stores has a bunch of those. Oh man, Barely Battle Ready, raiding with a party of 19. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Barely Battle Ready, how was your stream? Thank you for the raid, by the way, but how was your stream? What were you guys up to tonight? We've just been talking models. I was painting earlier. I kind of got to a little bit of a, let me switch over here, but I got to a decent stopping point, but I was painting some Clone Commandos for Star Wars Legion. So this was one of the ones that I painted tonight. Last thing I did was coat their base with this brown. I want to go back and add some texture paste and then add some more details later, but I wanted to make sure that the base was nice and dry before I added the texture paste. But I got the whole squad kind of to this point, and these guys are all kind of going to stay in this kind of standard color scheme. Great. Happy birthday. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And then the sniper guy, which I always joke, he's kind of in a weird, he's in like this weird, like leaning pose. And I really feel like if he was firing like a very powerful rifle, he would like really pull a muscle in his back as a best case scenario. He's just, it's like kind of an awkward lean. And someone else brought out that maybe he's like leaning behind some terrain or something. And that could be the case. So I don't know if I have any terrain to put on his base, but I have some room here. So I could totally glue something and have like a little sectional wall sticking out or a rock or something. So I might have to see if I can make something before I go any farther with this model. Because again, he's in this really awkward kind of standing pose. And then the last guy in the squad has his little shotgun. He's kind of leaning out left-handed. He's just blasting away. He's ready to shoot somebody. But yeah, I want to do some more work on their bases, but these guys are a good chunk of the way there. I think I made some good progress tonight. I've also recently painted, like here's another Clone Commando I did not terribly long ago. Onomi, thank you for the follow. Hopefully I pronounced your name not terribly incorrectly. But this is, I want to run this guy as like a custom clone commander for my Legion army. I'm pretty happy with how he turned out as well. And I also really like how the glow effect came out on his visor. It's not perfect, but I think it works really good as a contrast to his darker color scheme on his armor. And then I also recently painted up this custom Jedi that I 3D printed. She's going to be the leader of my custom Republic army. I want to do a Tours of Duty, which is kind of a narrative game mode for Star Wars Legion. So I want to have her run or lead my army. Because she's pretty cool. And then let's see, what else have I painted recently? So for all you new guys, I guess I'm doing a little bit of show and tell. I've already shown a couple of these, but you guys just got here. So here's this is the Space Marine Phobos Lieutenant that came out. Was this 9th edition? I don't remember. He's been out for a little while now. Was it? I think it was 9th. I don't think this guy came out in 8th. I think this guy came out in 9th. Maybe it was 8th. I don't remember. I apologize. I enjoy Warhammer, but I don't regularly play anymore. I did a lot during 8th and 9th. And then, unfortunately, some of my local group kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I haven't really wanted to play Warhammer for a little bit. Some of my local group got kind of ultra competitive, but I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. My daughter actually picked out most of the color scheme. I picked out just the green because I wanted to paint him up kind of as a salamander. I'd never painted a salamander before. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. My daughter picked the colors for like the Tyranid and stuff. I also just recently have been painting this Spartan from Halo Flashpoint. And I'm really happy with how his armor has come out. I really like how like the highlights and everything came out. He's not quite finished. I added some texture paste to his base That was the last thing I did the other day when I was painting, but it was still wet before I went to bed, so I did not have a chance to come back to it. But I want to do some dry brushing and add like some shrubs and some grass and stuff like that, just to kind of spruce up the base. Need to add some more details, but again, I'm pretty happy with how he came out. I like how bright his visor looks, the nice kind of gold look to it there. And again, I like his armor. I like I'm really happy with like how these little highlights like on his pouch and on these little straps came out. Yeah, sorry. I feel like I'm bragging a little bit, but I'm very pleasantly surprised with how well that one came out. I have some other stuff around somewhere. I have a small display case over there. It's a little bit out of reach. I should have grabbed more to have over here to show off in case I needed to. So I apologize for not having more. But it was so nice of you guys to raid. Barely Battle Ready. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your viewers over here. I left 2 texture paints drying too. My models look good. Thank you, Onomi. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm definitely not a pro painter or anything by any means. I paint a lot for fun. I collect a lot of different things. I've got some Warhammer. I have Space Marines. I have AdMech. I have a little bit of Tyranids, and my wife bought me a Sisters of Battle squad once, so I have 1 Sisters of Battle squad. I feel like I have something else. I think that's mostly it. Just Space Marines. I collected Black Templars, but I had a bunch of like generic Space Marines, so I was like, I'll paint some other faction, or not factions, but other chapters, like the Salamanders. But most of my Space Marines are Black Templars. I collect Star Wars Legion. So I have pretty much all the factions. All 4 of the main factions: Republic, Separatists, Rebels, and Empire. So I have all 4 of the main factions. And then I have kind of the sub factions like the Shadow Collective, which I guess is more just a battle force and not exactly a faction. And then the new Mandalorian kind of sub faction. So I have those as well. But I have not really started painting those. I've bought them and collected them. And I've built a few. I have like a couple of squads that are built, and primed, but they're primed in black, so they don't really show up on camera very well currently. So kind of hard to show those guys off. But yeah, I collect some Infinity. I have some random 3D printed stuff. I have some fantasy models of different things, some Age of Sigmar. I don't know. If it's a cool model, I collect it and I want to paint it. And if it's something I can play in a game, it doesn't have to even be the game that it's meant to be played in. I play a lot of games like 5 Parsecs from Home and 5 Leagues from the Borderlands that are both like miniatures agnostic narrative adventure games, which are really cool. And you can use whatever models you want in those games. And I really like that. So it gives me a good chance to use most of my models in different stuff. And it looks like there's an ad break starting, so I apologize if you've been thrown into ads. But yeah, it is now midnight here for me. It's actually a little bit past midnight. I was actually getting ready to raid somebody else when you guys showed up, so I apologize for shoving you guys forward into another raid. But I am looking for someone to raid. I know You There Is Here had mentioned Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. I've never raided them before, but they are painting a really creepy looking nun thing. My goodness, that is a creepy face. So yeah, why not? Let's go raid this person. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. It has been a wonderful birthday today. And again, I want to thank, Barely Battle Ready. I wanted to make sure I got your name right instead of just trying to say it from memory. But I want to thank you so much for raiding. and bringing some viewers over here just to, you know, hang out for a bit. It's always appreciated. So we are now going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to push forward and we're going to raid Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. Again, I have never watched this person, but they seem pretty cool. So Commander Jerton, good night. Awesome channel, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I pretty much, currently I only stream on Wednesdays. I stream Wednesday nights for just a couple hours. I mostly paint minis. Sometimes I build models. I eventually would like to add more stream nights. Usually the wife and at least one of the kids are here. Not here on the stream, but they're usually in the chat as well. She was getting the baby to sleep tonight. And eventually I think once our baby gets a little bit older, it might be easier to stream multiple nights a week. I'd like to bump it up to 2, maybe 3 nights. But yeah, for now, just the 1 night a week. And we enjoy it. But yeah, we kind of all... Oh, we're raiding.